Chapter 20. Another stick snapped like a breaking bone. The burly man winced and cursed his heavy foot. His 5 companions locked their glares onto him. They hunched in their dark cloaks and resumed trudging across the clearing. They had tried to blend into the night's darkness so much that they stood out like shadows at noon. Fear of their priest had whipped them to hunt elves in the dead of night. And worse, the king of Thalith had renewed his purge of devil worshippers from Second Akron and Dulangar. Had they stayed, they would have likely been lynched. "We're lost." The stick stomper thrust his hands into his armpits. "And it's cold." "Shut up, man. You ain't done nothing but whine all this time," the soul woman in the party huffed. She yanked her hood farther over her face. "You ain't the only one that don't want to be out here." "I know, but they're elves. We'll never find them." "Why the hell did it have to be elves?" "Shut up," another hissed. He stomped ahead, bellowing a deep laugh. "We ain't found a single trail to follow. Not a single one. We're 20 leagues away at the very least." "We've got to be closer than that," the smallest member declared. He was thin, short, and often clumsy, but he had removed the heart from his own daughter's chest, despite her screams on Senna's altar, in exchange for erasing his memories of his dead wife. "Our God guides us." "Does he now?" the man snorted. "How dare you?" "Never mind the both of you." The woman snapped her fingers. "Has anyone seen Anton?" She spun to look for their missing member. Shrill whinnies echoed like banshees throughout the trees, and hoofbeats thundered toward them. With a glance at each other, they turned and sprinted. The hooves pounded faster than they could flee. Jacob's axe glinted in the firelight. His other hand was up, ordering everyone to hold their ground. Dare glanced at Fallon and Kelin's grip. She whispered, "If things don't work out here, we may have to take the boy and run." "Dare!" Kelin shook his head. Fallon squirmed and stretched forward with his hands. "They're gonna kill him!" "He can't lose both parents, Kelin, no matter what." Dare bowled her fists while glancing around, trying to find the best way to escape. The Kemin raised his hands higher. "What about a traitor?" Jacob asked in a deathly severe voice. Amthros leveled his sword. "He's bluffing to buy time. We should kill him." "Time for what? He came to us," the captain barked. "He's Kemin. He's one of them. Whatever he's doing is part of their agenda." Farallon stormed through the crowd, followed by the Duchess and the cook. Lady Eve slid in behind Kelin and Dare. She took Fallon's hand. The boy sobbed into her gown, and she stroked his hair. "I knew it," the Duke exclaimed. "They're following the humans." His nose was in one piece, but not one color. A thunderhead of a bruise decorated his face. "Who is this traitor?" Jacob demanded. Thistle stared evenly at the dragoon. "If you don't know who it is, you will lose this war. If I tell you now, you'll kill me. I'll wait until I'm away with my son. Then why show yourself?" Jacob's eyes narrowed to slits. Thistle snorted. "Because you would kill me if I just took him." "We'll kill you regardless," the Duke sneered. Thistle bowed his head. "I am not in league with the other Kemin. My son should be proof enough." Silence followed in the wake of his words. Farallon struggled to breathe. Then he roared, "He's using trickery! There is no load they won't fall to!" Behind him, Lady Sabiel clung to his arm to keep him from charging. Evelyn stepped in front of him, guiding the crying boy. "This child has witnessed his mother slain. Now you wish to murder his father before his eyes, too?" "He is a Kemin," Farallon growled. "They murdered our king and queen, my dear friends." "This one did not." "One is the same as another. Who says that this one is even this child's father?" Would you know better than me?" Her voice, always with laughter brimming below the surface, had gone cold. Amthros glared down the length of his sword at the storm reader. "He has witnessed who we are. I advise we execute him immediately." Thalon began to sob, and Evelyn turned the boy's head away. "You will do no such thing." "Then perhaps you should remove the child from this audience." Farallon snapped his fingers. Jacob bowed his head toward the Duke. "We need to leave. Now. He found us despite our forest sanctuary. How long until other Kemen do? If the forest is too weak, we need to move." Sweat glowed across Farallon's forehead, and his face had gone ruby. "Where will we go?" Lady Sabiel asked. "Right where we were planning, which I will not repeat here." The Knight Captain's eyes flitted back to Thistle. Beside him, Amthros was shaking his head. "No." Farallon lowered his voice to a growl. "I absolutely will not use the ahem in front of him." Thistle raised an eyebrow. "The tree paths? The Hemen have known how to use those since before the banishment." Gasps exploded from the elves. Thalon wailed as a torrential argument cascaded. The dam had burst, and the ensuing flood was furious. Blades and metallic arrowheads reflected the moonlight, and everyone's voices howled louder. Thistle remained unmoving. One voice towered above the rest. "Shut up, the lot of you!" Dare marched forward, fists balled at her sides. "This man saved my life. He's lost his wife. Despite all that, he's still trying to save your sorry skins, and you want to kill him for it in front of his own child. You're all—" Jacob coughed. "Derora, did you lie to us when you said that you didn't know Elvish?" "Oh," she gasped. "No, the healer, Master Pena—" She waved her hand in the direction of his tent. "It doesn't matter. In all the legends I've ever heard, you elves are supposed to be better than humans. But here you are arguing about execution of someone who only wants his kid back. This man saved our lives. Now that doesn't make him a hero to anyone else, but it's another piece of evidence that demands you don't just murder him." She narrowed her eyes. "You really aren't any better than the rest of us." Silence descended. Dare inhaled again. Farallon's growl trickled with disgust. "I will rip out that tongue, child." Dare ready to fist as Jacob grabbed her shoulder. The Duke broke from his wife's hold. "I am the highest-ranked nobility here. Sir Amthros, you are a knight of Indaleria, and you, Sir Jacob, will—" "I am not under your charge, my lord," Jacob interrupted. "Silverdawn has never been a part of Indaleria." "Oh, but you'll listen to her." He jerked his gaze toward Lady Eve. The knight paused to glare. "The lady has earned my respect." He turned back to the storm reader. "You may surrender to me or them. Your choice." Thistle nodded to Jacob and stepped away from his dropped sword. Farallon spun on his heel and stomped off. Sabiel and the others remained, staring. Amthros was glaring at Thistle, tensed but unmoving. Dare inched forward. Sir?" "Dare!" Jacob snapped. "Line up with the Kemen and you're shutting the hell up." "Yes, sir," she muttered. She raised her hands, allowing them to be tied together, and she gritted her teeth through her new gag. Thistle, also with his hands bound, raised one eyebrow. "I appreciate the effort." "Thanks," she attempted. The Knight Captain marched up to them. He looked at Dare, shook his head, and blew out a sigh. "You are both prisoners of the Silverdawn Dragoons. From now on, the rule is that you may only speak to answer a direct question asked of you, and you will be kept away from the Duke." He leaned in closer. "Of course, I am the only one of my order here, so keep your ears and eyes open."